like? Like when you burnt out, how do you feel? Overwhelmed? What's some other emotions?
Tired.
Stressed, tired,
Yes.
low energy,
Oversleeping.
sleepy, overstimulated, so many different things. So as people, as a human race, we juggle a lot of work, a lot of family. Self-care is usually the last thing on our minds. I mean, now with the social media trends and everything, everybody doing a little self-care. I actually see more men getting massages in my massage parlor than women nowadays. And then like even getting nails. I seen like a husband and his son, and I'm like, you guys belong at the Phillies game, but they were getting their nails done. Self-care, whatever it is to make yourself feel good about yourself and not being burnt out. I know for myself, years ago, I used to work as an archaeologist. Before I started this, I was an archaeologist. I also ran a program as a geologist for the YMCA called Watershed Educational Services for Bikes. And then also, I worked at New Jersey Turnpike. Okay, working. And I would never forget, I was so sick. I didn't know what was wrong with me. And I went to the doctor. And then they came back and was like, yeah, your white blood cell counts are super low. And I'm like scared at this moment, right? At the moment, I had just lost my grandmother, and it was so much happening. I was like, could I possibly have like what's going on? And I rested. And the thing about it is they told me they couldn't give me any further results or talk to me until after the holiday. So I went the entire holiday just not working and being scared and being worried. And then when I went back and did my retest, I was fine. Sometimes burnout can trigger some things in your body. And sometimes burnout makes you feel like you can't go anymore. And sometimes you need to actually burn out to sit the hell down. Sometimes, a lot of times, you really get to that final stress and you finally get to sit down, but it shouldn't be like that. It should be a balance. I work hard, I deserve to rest. I did this today, I deserve a treat. I went out here, I deserve to kick my feet up and ignore everybody that calls me and just have me time. So today I have some beautiful, beautiful women who every single day they're helping their community. They're showing up for their community, but you can't pour into others' cups if you don't pour into yourself. So we're gonna talk to them, learn a little bit more about burnout and balance and how you can become a master of it. So we're gonna start first with Anne. Anne is the owner and house director of High Low House, a boutique fitness brand refining the workout experience through high intensity, low impact training with thriving locations in Wilmington, Delaware, a newly opened studio in Wilmington, Delaware, and a newly opened studio in Media, PA. And is expanding the house and bringing new level fitness and community to new markets. After an 18-year career in education, including 7 years as a middle school principal, go girl, she made the bold move to pursue her passion for health, wellness, and connection. What started as a love for Legree and Versa Climber quickly turned into a mission to build something bigger. Now Anne leads High Low with energy, intention, and heart coaching classes, growing the brand and creating spaces where people can ignite their spark, stay consistent, and truly elevate their lives one class at a time. Let's give it up for Anne. Next, we have Lindsay. Lindsay is a community builder and a fitness instructor known for creating experiences that feel just as good as they look. As a creator of Boxalates, a rhythmic blend of boxing, Pilates, and sculpt, she brings people together through movement, music, and connection. A former studio owner, Lindsay now hosts pop-up events that turns everyday workout into elevated feel-good moments. Her mission is simple, makes fitness approachable, is energizing, and something you can actually look forward to. Let's give it up for Lindsay. And then last but not least, my partner in crime, Lauren Lindsay, who is a certified personal trainer, yoga enthusiast, and a wellness coach with nearly a decade of experience. helping individuals build strength physically and mentally. As a founder of Win Nutrition, her mission is to help you win at life through movement, mindful living, and proper nutrition. Lauren offers group classes, private training, and online programs, along with practical tools through her partnership with Herbalife Nutrition. You can connect with her and she'll tell you more about her Instagram. And she also teaches Tai Chi for seniors, y'all. Let's give it up for Lauren. All right. So the first question that we're going to ask today is, how do you personally know the difference between discipline and being burnt out? So we're going to start with Lauren.
Knowing the difference between discipline and being burned out, I think discipline, I have to stick to a certain structure. Discipline, I think a lot of times, sometimes we think discipline is like a negative, but it really can give us freedom. And if we treat discipline the right way, then that actually, we're able to structure our lifestyle so that we don't get burned out. We know how, like, I can work, like Paris had touched on before, I can work when I work, and when I play, I play. I have time for rest. I prioritize rest. I prioritize myself, my well-being, but I also know there's things that I have to do. So I think I think discipline kind of gives you the path to not be burned out.
Yeah, I was going to hit on exactly, part of discipline is giving yourself the rest, giving yourself the self-care. Even any method, no matter what your workout routine is, you need to build rest days in. And maybe it's a little gentle yoga, maybe it's stretching on those days, but just knowing you don't have to go all out all the time to see the results, and that your rest and your self-care is important in your journey just as much as the workout that you're putting in.
Wow, they said some really good things, but I do think, for me, it's a little bit different. I think the difference between discipline and burnout is when things stop to be enjoyable. When you stop enjoying the things that you need to be disciplined about, then you're kind of teetering on that part of burnout. When you just feel like you're constantly going and going and going, and you forget the joy in the small things, you're hitting burnout. And that's when you kind of need to step back and really reevaluate what you're looking at and how it makes you feel, because that's what's going to tell you your burnout, your feelings. It's not going to be a mind-heart thing, because sometimes what we love is what we get burned out from. So until you can step back and feel it, see it, then you'll kind of know the difference. So it's really an internal thing. You want to go back to that?
All right, that was really good. Does anybody in the crowd want to share like what they think about that? Anybody? Like, when you're not feeling disciplined, when you're burnt out, like, what's the difference for you? Anybody have anything? No? All right, we'll go to the next one. All right, so this is a good thing, because I literally just had this conversation and Casey is on her way. You have to practice peace, right? Everybody wants peace, but you have to practice it. It's like anything else. You want to be the best trainer, you have to practice. You want to be the best mom, you got to practice. You got to go through some things. So what is one thing that you had to let go of to find peace?
So I think for me, in all of my roles in education, and then now as a studio owner, realizing that you don't have to get everything done in the day. It's okay if it's a little longer before you answer that email or before you get a certain task done, but if you are getting to that point where, again, going back to the burnout, you need to keep the joy in what you love, and also realizing you don't have to get it all done, and that it's okay to wait until the next day if you just need to turn it off for the day, find some one-on-one time with yourself before you move on, but just being okay with not getting it all done in the day, I think, is what has helped me. Just realize it's okay. It's okay if I send that email tomorrow morning, and just give myself that time I need to close my day down and give myself some peace and one-on-one time before getting it for the next day coming forward.
I feel like this is a loaded question for me. If you guys know me, you know I had 3 studios and I closed them all. And so the biggest thing that I had to learn through that is that everything has an expiration date, even us. And it's okay to let go of things that you love. It doesn't mean that they're not going to come back in a different version of it and to find different versions of it. I like to say, for me, I had to find what the slowed down version of my life looks like. And that was letting go of my studios, letting go of the expectations. And with that, it's okay to let your friendships and relationships also go. Not every relationship is there to take you into every season of your life. There are relationships that are going to build you. There are relationships that are going to break you. And when you're coming to that point, it's okay to step away. If it's exiting the group chat, if it's not going to an event, if it's choosing you first, then your relationship will see through that. And if it doesn't, it's totally okay to let go of it. And that goes for relationships in business, that goes for spouse relationships, that goes for friendships. It goes for everything that you have to put your heart and soul into. Once it stops serving you and you stop finding the joy, it's time to let it go.
Oh, wow. Does anybody want to share in the crowd what's one thing they had to let go of? Lindsay did touch everything. I previously had a fitness studio in Old City, Philadelphia for 5 years. I held on. And sometimes things need to happen in order for you to finally let go. And I held on no matter what. COVID happened, I had to close my studio down for 1.5 years. After only being in there for 3 months, paying rent to a space that if I stepped foot into, I would have got fined and lost my license. And it's like, okay, that happened. I'm like, I'm still gonna do this. More things started happening. Landlord, horrible. I'm still gonna keep it. And then finally I was like, you know what? My term is coming up. I was here for 5 years, let me walk away. And at that time, I was embarrassed. I felt like a failure. And I never shared this publicly with anybody. But I felt like a failure. It was like, what are people gonna think of me? I remember during COVID, Philadelphia Magazine was posting, such and such gym closed down. I'm like, whoo, I made it through the rags. I didn't want that type of exposure for myself. And I was like, you know what? If I silently leave, nobody will know. But in that moment, I started to replace what I was used to, going to that gym every day, with finding other paths. I started working in luxury apartment buildings, started working in senior homes where Lauren's able to help me now. And then I started to do these large-scale events. I got the blessing offering to do workouts at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Never happened ever before. I did 5. I was able to have my first event with my partner Casey that's coming from Herbalife. We had over 750 people at our last free event. And when I looked around, what I was holding on, a space that only can fit 30 people in, I was holding on to that, when now I have spaces where I can fit 300 people in. And it felt so good to know that was my season. That was my time. I helped the people that I could during that time, and now I have space to help people everywhere. So doing events like this, I tell you, this was hard. Jess knows. I'm not from here. So I am so grateful for each and every one of you sweating with us this morning. Literally a coop. Can you tell them how you got your flyer, how you knew about this event? Hold on, wait.
I was actually sitting in my car waiting for my son to get off, and I seen these 2 women walking through the parking lot with a cool spirit like mine. And I was like, hey, you want to come work out with us? I was like, sure. They was like, you know people? I was like, look, I'll put it on my socials, and I'll get it out there. And that's exactly what I did. Like, I blasted it on Instagram, on Facebook, and then when my daughter's in the car, she was supposed to come too, but she was too tired. But I was just like, don't everybody, I'm coming. And so I showed up.
And we got one more. What's happening here? Hey.
I was actually coming from the YMCA working out with my daughter because we go every day and doing Casey, and they spirits, everything, they were just so cool. I was like, oh my God, they had the same last names and our birthdays was all over the same. It was like really crazy. I told my fiance, like, this is crazy, I gotta go to this event. But that's how it happened. I'm here.
But that was fear. That was fear, guys. I never did nothing like that. I never walked around and went to stores and just walked up to people because I don't got time for people like, I don't know, like, I just don't have it in my heart. But having friends like Casey, different people that pour into you, and my girl just walked in the building. This is the second time I done talked about her. And she, look at that smile, it's so radiant. And I'm gonna have her actually come up here because this question was built off of her. What you tell me yesterday, you gotta do what to get peace? You gotta
Change your mindset, change your life. Be around positive energy. Stay connected with people who want to empower you, love for you, and always pick you up because you're exactly who you say you are.
Me and Casey was out in the streets, walking, going to malls, and doing everything. But fear would have made this event not happen. But when you come to terms with peace and knowing the right people will find you, and you come to terms and you know no matter what, it's always going to work in your favor. You have to be good within your heart. And that's where you're going to find peace. And you're not going to find peace by doing the same exact cycles, being in the same traumas and the same toxicity. You got to remove some things. So the question was, what's one thing you had to remove to find peace?
Oh wow. First, hey y'all. Y'all look amazing. For me, I had to remove it all. People, places, things. Right? The people who don't serve you, the people who don't pour into you, the people who don't celebrate you, they gotta go. Places. If it's places that don't pour positivity into you, if it's places that's toxic, if it's places that, regardless of what it is, if it doesn't make you happy, if it doesn't make you feel warm inside, you know what I'm saying? It has to go. And things. The things that we do matter, right? A lot of times we pay so much attention to what we put on our bodies, but we don't pay attention to what we put in our bodies. And that's the foods we eat. That's the books we read or don't read. That's the music we listen to. Like, it's just everything as a whole. It's like rowing a boat, right? You can't row on the left side without rowing on the right side, because if you only row on the left side, what's going to happen? You're going to go around in circles, right? So you've got to change the cycle. You can't work on this one thing and not the other. You have to work on all of it. It's like full body, mind work that causes transformation. But the most important thing you can do is be around people who can remind you that you are worthy, you are worth it, and you are capable. Because nobody else's opinion matters, right? Only the people that can pour into you to remind you that you are who you say you are.
Woo, this got intense a little quick, didn't it? Woo! All right. So, we have one more question I want to ask. For someone who feels overwhelmed, what is the first thing that you recommend that they start with? Like I said, everyday life. You turn on the news, there's something going on. There's somebody talking for you. You're like, what the hell? You go outside, you done heard 5 different stories that done happened. You're like, how the heck? It's always so mind-boggling with what's going on in the outside world. And then sometimes the inside world is also crashing too. And sometimes we just don't know what to do. Whether that's journaling, whether that's finding places and spaces like this. There's so many different things that you could do. So I want to ask you ladies, from your different walks of life, what is something that you could recommend that somebody starts with? I'm going to start with Lauren.
So something I would recommend is just finding a routine, like morning. All right. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, there we go. All right, there we go. So I would say start with either a morning or night routine, like whether it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or an extra hour. I know for me, I'm the first person in my house to get up because it's like I need that silence. I need, some time. I need to get up, make my hot tea, relax, maybe write down some gratefuls. and really just have that time to myself before, like Paris just touched on, before life starts happening. Before I step out into the world, I need to pour into myself first, because once I pour into me, once I start my day like that, I know I can go out and I can accomplish anything. I'm ready to take on anything, what's the word I want to, any challenges, that's a good one. Any challenges that might show up that day, I'm already prepared. I'm already in a good headspace to really deal with it. So that's just something like practical that I would suggest, or, could advise anybody. That's something that I do, and I think it helps.
So to build on that, I know some people are like, first they wake up and they work out. Some people like to do it midday. Some people like to do it in the evening, like after workday is done. So I think finding where you can put your movement in your day, because especially at Hilo, we preach movement is medicine, right? So moving your body, there's so many mental benefits to moving your body, and finding what brings you joy in that movement. If it feels like work for your workout, you're not going to stick to it in your routine. So finding what works for you, it can be a variety of things. But I think also finding your hype people, right? If you do go to a place to work out, like at Hilo, we care about you. We want to get to know you, not just when you're working out, but what you're doing outside. And we want to build you up when you're there, and finding that place. And maybe you can find it at home or wherever you can do, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you have for that day. Don't let that time limit impact your movement. So if it's only 10 minutes and you're doing it at home, do it, because even that 10 minutes, you're gonna feel so much better after. So just finding what brings you joy, finding where you have your hype people, where you can find joy in your movement, and finding where you can stick to a routine. So maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday you're doing this, Tuesday, Thursday, maybe Saturday you're doing that, but just finding the routine, no matter how much time you have, move your bodies, because it is gonna help you no matter what you're feeling, overwhelmed, having a tough day. That movement is gonna help you in the long run.
I think both of them said amazing things. I do think one of the biggest things, I feel like sometimes when you feel overwhelmed, you feel like you can't breathe, right? There's something sitting on your chest. So I know for me, breathing again is important. So taking the moment to inhale, exhale, making your exhale just a little bit longer than that inhale to get yourself out of that fight or flight situation. Because, having a conversation with somebody is meant to be fun. It's not meant to scare you and put you into fight or flight. Getting gas is meant to be easy, not put you into fight or flight. And when those small tasks become so big, it's hard to breathe. And so just sitting back, reminding yourself that you are somebody, you have worth, you are enough. Everything that you have within you is made for you, and you are capable of wild things. You have to remember those things, and the only way you can do those things is if you're living, and if you're moving, and if you're breathing. So remembering to breathe.
Yeah, so I couldn't agree more. So I'm not even going to reiterate all of that, because that's everything that I would say, right? But what I would add for me is, number one, remembering what consistency really looks like, right? So some people have this idea that consistency is starting something and never falling off, right? Or you have a day where it's bad and I messed it all up. But realizing that consistency is not when you fall, but is how often you're able to get back on the course and start riding, right? Like, that's what creates the results. That's what creates the consistency. So even if you're not a morning person, right? You're gonna mess up a million times. But every single day that you decide, you know what, I'm gonna get up today. It may not happen. Or I'm gonna get up tomorrow. Or it may not happen. But each day you get closer to the goal. And remembering, for me, I like to believe that your morning doesn't start the morning you wake up. It starts the night before, right? So planning your day out the night before really sets you up for success.
And like, one thing that I actually saw on social media, and I do it. So there's a video, and he goes, in the morning, when you're laying there in bed, and you know that you have stuff to do and you can't do it, repeat to yourself, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Even this morning, I did not want to get up. I ended up having an obligation. I done told people, I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna do this. And I didn't get home till like 1 o'clock. And I had to be up at 5, because I had to go get the mats. And then I had a yoga class that I had to go and do at one of the hotels that I partner with. And I literally laid there. I was like, I gotta get up. I gotta get up. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Sometimes we gotta be our own cheerleader. There's not always gonna be somebody there clapping for you and telling you, come on, let's do it. There's gonna be days that you gotta clap for yourself, and being okay with clapping for yourself and knowing that your clap is probably gonna be louder than any other claps that really matter. It starts with you, so I want you guys to put your hands together. Give yourselves a round of applause for what you did today. Thank you, ladies, for what you have to offer to the community, because you can see it and you can feel it. It's not like they're just talking. They actually live it. I told Casey, I'm like, I don't know how you be so happy all the time. I'm practicing it. Sometimes she just say, okay. And she's okay with it and it rubs off. But that's what happens when we surround ourselves with like-minded people. If you want to tap into a certain energy, go find that energy. You can't say, oh, I want to be this vibrant person, but you around a girlfriend that calls you every single day sad about the same thing you done told her to let go of. Not. Now why y'all look at me? You done told her to let go of 10 years, and she's coming and talking to you. Sometimes my mother says, she'd be like, you ain't unloading today on me. I used to have a friend that literally I would call her and I would just go off at the mouth. She goes, well, good morning, how are you? I just can't talk to you right now because I got to do such and such. And I used to be so mad. She goes, so I'm going to hang up the phone and I'm going to call you a little later. And I used to be so mad. But she was right. We can't just pour and overload ourselves on other people. We talked about that. We can't pour out and just unload on other people. Sometimes you got to check in with self. Try to be whole with self first. Journal. Try journaling. Try writing notes to yourself. My therapist told me before I have an argument with somebody, because I am a texter and a talker, go in a quiet room and say exactly what I want to say on my notes and video record myself and then play it back to listen how I sound. Because you ever had an argument with somebody and you say, I'm so mad I didn't even get to say what I really wanted to say. Right? Or sometimes you say too much because you're talking out of anger. I had one person that told me never make a decision when you're too happy and never make a decision when you're too sad. Your mind is everywhere. You gotta be in a neutral place. So be neutral with yourself, be patient with yourself, be proud of yourself, keep going, and keep showing up for yourself. Can we give our panelists a round of applause? Can we give Jessica a round of applause? Jessica, you clap it for yourself, we clap it for you. And then last but not least, us on the panel and the Dick's House of Sports and Sweat House, can we give the crowd a round of applause?